The views expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those in the community, as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Insights. I'm Erica Fernandez, and I'm here today with Mark Kinney. Mark, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
Now, Mark, you are the president of Friends of Plaza Pool, correct?
I am.
So tell me, first off, what is the Friends of Plaza Pool?
Friends of Plaza Pool is a nonprofit organization which was created to support the Plaza Pool. Started in 2002 at a time when the pool was facing a crisis of continuing it, and it's been in existence since. And if you look around, you can see evidence of the benefit of Friends of Plaza Pool. It helped support the lighting around the edge. It helped purchase the hydraulic lift here. I mean, it's done whole sets of things. There was a wheelchair right there that was purchased by Friends of Plaza Pool. We also do programming.
Okay.
So one of the ways we help the pool is to help people come into the pool to use the pool. So Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock, we do a coached swim class right here. And I coach that, so it's another hat that I have. And we have a good little group. We'd love to have more. We've also supported the Salvation Army summer camp program and provided pool time for them to bring the kids here and learn to swim and have fun in the pool. We do a class in the spring for the last couple of times. We have done it for youth groups of some sort. The 4-H one time, we did it for Pathfinders last fall. We teach them how to snorkel. And so we do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so how long have you been involved with Friends of Plaza Pool, or how did you first get involved?
Yeah, Jack Bacon founded the organization in 2002. I moved into the area in 2000. It must have been 2003 or 4 that I started swimming here. And Jack started talking to me, and probably by, I don't keep dates like that, but I think by 2007 or 8, he'd asked me to be on the board. And then he became a snowbird, and pretty quickly I was president of Friends of Plaza Pool.
Yeah.
And ever since.
So you've kind of taken over the head role.
Yes.
Awesome.
And we have a wonderful board of directors. Those people just put out so well. It's amazing.
So can you tell me, what are some of the issues that the Plaza Pool is currently facing right now?
Well, there are some really interesting issues. It is unusual. It is a real feather in our cap that we have a pool in a community of the small size of Alpena. It's an amazing asset to this community. And because it has a small group of people in the community, it is always a question of finding enough people to be using the pool to keep the revenue coming in to be able to operate it. It's also the case that a community has to really value a pool to keep it going. Pools are expensive to run, and you almost always have to have some community financial support in addition to the memberships and the use fees to keep a pool operating. And so one of the things that we're struggling with here is just to make all of that work. I know, and the director, Krista Mora, can speak more to this than I can, but staffing is always an issue. It's for any kind of organization like this. If you have too many guards, like I have grandchildren that guard in a pool in Albuquerque, they have too many guards. So my grandchildren don't get enough hours to keep them interested in being a guard because they need to earn more money. So if you have too many, there's a problem. If you don't have enough, then you got to have somebody who fills in. That can be a real problem, and it cycles. So that's an issue. Another issue is just having enough of the financial support from the county commissioners to make sure that the pool runs. For this pool, it's reaching the end of its life, or what would normally be the end of its life, so we either really need to rebuild it or build a new facility. There are issues around the maintenance that are cropping up. Those are main ones I see.
So tell me a little bit about how the county is planning to close the pool for 3 months out of the year.
Well, the best way to get that information is to talk to Cam Habermill, the chairperson of that committee, or one of the committee members. But as I've heard it, and I'm reading the paper and talking with Cam or whatever, they realized they were going to have a shortfall in funding at the pool. And they asked the administrative unit, synchronizations, to do an analysis of what is the best way to handle a shortfall that would be between $20,000 and $30,000. And the proposal was given back to the county commissioners that they could close the pool for the 3 months where it's used least, July, August, and September, and save about $20,000. And so the commissioners acted on that proposal and decided that that would be the way they would cover the gap in the funding that was available to run the pool according to their estimates of income, so memberships, punch cards, all that kind of revenue that comes in, grants that they have from the youth and recreation millage or whatever, because that's one of the ways that the funding for the pool is provided, whatever. They decided they would budget it so that they would close it for the 3 months of the summer, July, August, September, not counting June. You know, it's kind of a weird summer, but there you go. And at that point, which was in November, we at Friends of Plaza Pool were kind of blindsided by that, but we said, we better bring community members together and find out what we can do about that. And the upswell of interest in that has been just amazing.
Well, that's awesome. And we'll talk a little bit later about the community, how they have come together and really worked to help raise the funds for that. But tell me personally, how has this decision affected you?
Well, personally, it affects me mostly because of my role as president of Friends of Plaza Pool. And it has meant that I have learned a lot about how do you help an organization bring people together and manage fundraising efforts and make sure communication between people that are doing different things is clear and straightforward or whatever. I learned about how to license a lottery license so we could hold a raffle, and I think one of your cameras probably can see the quilt back here, which was built by 2 of the Friends of Plaza Pool members and is being raffled off in mid-February to help raise funds to fill the shortfall. So it's been a lot of extra work for me, a lot of learning for me. It's caused me to make a lot of friends. It's been wonderful. It has brought this community together. And I'm loving it. I mean, I know some people now that I would not have known if we hadn't all been brought together in this effort to keep the pool alive.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for being here, Mark. I really appreciate it.
And I can talk forever.
All right, stay tuned, because coming up next, I will speak with Eve Phillips, who has used the Plaza Pool since the very first day that it opened. Welcome back, everyone. I'm joined here right now with Eve Phillips, who is a longtime user of the Plaza Pool. Eve, thank you so much for being here with me this morning.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about when you first started using the Plaza Pool. How long have you used the pool?
Since it opened, 40 years.
40 years, wow. And so tell me some of the things that you've done since you've been a part of the Plaza Pool community.
Well, I have been a swimming instructor for probably 45 or 50 years. And I started seriously teaching swimming before this place even opened over at the old Thunder Bay Junior High. And so I started there in 1970. And then they built this pool in 1975. And so my first experience here was with a synchronized swimming group. We had a group of about 14, 15, or 20 girls, and I was teaching synchronized swimming over at the old Thunder Bay. And so we brought them over here to put on a show for the year. The toughest part was, about that show, there are no underwater lights here. So when the girls would go underwater, they didn't know where they were because it was too dark. But after that, we got used to it. And from then on, I'm not sure how long I taught synchronized swimming, probably till 1976. I came to the high school. And I was a physical education teacher, and of course swimming was part of the program. So I've been here ever since.
So tell me a little bit about a couple of the other things that you've done involved with the Plaza Pool.
I am very interested to this day in working with the disabled people. And I had a young man who still lives in town here, David Shadig, and he had an accident, and so I went to the National Aquatic School and learned how to work with disabled people. And so he is a paraplegic, but that got me started in the Adapted Aquatics program run by the Red Cross. And I learned a lot there, and since then I have worked with a girl who is blind. And the first time we put her in the pool and we went around and she screamed for 45 minutes and thought, how am I going to do this? And I thought, if I was blind and somebody put me in that area, I'd be screaming too. So we put her on the wall and had her go hand around and familiarize herself with what the water was about. And from there on, we had a great time. And she would look forward to coming swimming because she knew what was going to happen. The other person I worked with was, she was deaf. And I thought that was really interesting because, in fact, she had had some experience before, because we used to have a diving board down here, and she would go down and jump into the deep water. And she didn't need her ears, only her eyes to come up and see where she was. So that was exciting. And then I worked with a young man who at the time was, had all 10 levels of autism. He was non-verbal, and it took 2 years, but his mom had him here every week, and we got him swimming. In fact, we jumped off the diving board one day. I would hold his hand, and we'd jump off the diving board, and the next time we went up there, we were on the diving board. He let go of my hand, and I jumped in, and he stood there and just looked at me. But that was, to this day, I get so, I just never get tired of working with people who want to learn how to swim, because I never met one person that wanted to drown. In 40 years, I never met one that wanted to drown. So that was, it's just, to this day, I still get. I have a lesson going right now, private lesson, and it's just so much fun to watch him progress to where he wants to go. And so, it's just, and working with the senior fitness, that's what I do now, senior fit, and how I do it because I'm selfish. It benefits me as much, if not more, than them. I'm not a spring chicken. I've been around for a few decades, and it's just so exciting, to come here and do what we can do. We work on balance, flexibility, and what's the other one? Well, it's a real social thing.
Yeah.
Because the people who come here, it's their time to relax, enjoy the water. We always laugh. I have never been in a place where at 8 o'clock in the morning we're all laughing. having a good time.
So, I mean, those are some incredible stories that you mentioned, all of them. So how, the situation that the pool is facing now with the county commissioners possibly, closing the pool for 3 months out of the year, how has that affected you personally?
I will tell you, when they announced that that was going to happen, I went to the meeting, and a lot of people said, "You're never going to do it. You're never going to raise the money." And I just looked at them and said, "You wait. You just wait. The people that use this pool in the morning are not going to let this place close down." And they're not. We did it. And let's see, we started in November and raised the amount of money that they need, and we've raised it and then some. And so it's like, I'll show you.
Yeah.
How has it benefited me, my health, if people can't believe I'm as old as I am? Because the vitality that I have, just by coming here, it carries me through the rest of the day. And my physical health is good, it's excellent. I'm just so happy to be here.
So would you say that these efforts that the community has come together, it's really shown how everyone is a community here at the Plaza Pool?
It is so important to the people who come here. So important. You can see it in their eyes, you can see it in their faces. And yeah, I mean, I knew that the people that use this pool were going to come through to do what we needed to do to keep this pool open during the summer. Because it's so encouraging, but I knew that they would do it.
Well, that's incredible. And I'm so happy. Thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your life experiences here at the Plaza Pool.
Thank you, Erica. Nice to meet you.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Erica Fernandez, and I'm joined here today, right now, with Krista Morrow. Thank you so much for being here, Krista.
Thank you for having me.
So, Krista, you are the director here at the Plaza Pool. So tell me, what was the management's reaction to the county commissioner's possibility of the 3-month closure during the summertime?
Absolutely devastating. All of the problems that could happen with a closure, even though it's short term, always scares us. Not to mention the mechanics, but the employees too. To say, well, we're going to work through August and then see you in 3 months. You don't know who you'll have back. So that creates terrible problems.
Yeah. And so Mark and Eve both mentioned to me how the community kind of came together for a fundraising effort. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh, that was amazing. Mark from the Friends of the Plaza Pool heard about the possible closure and jumped right in and helped form a committee of people to help do the fundraising. And I was just amazed at the amount of people that stepped forward, the amount of time and effort they put in, just deciding what it is they wanted to do, all the different ideas. It was really a moving moment.
So what types of things did you guys do to help raise the funds? Because it was $20,000, correct, that needed to be raised?
It was $20,000 we needed raised by the end of February. So when you're looking at that in November, you're thinking, oh my. But they pulled it together. We did a calendar sell, not just a calendar sell, but the calendars have a raffle. So every month, at the end of the month, we do a drawing and they can win $100. Not only that, but each person goes back into the drawing. So it's not a draw once and if you win, you're done. It's everybody goes back into the drawing. So you literally have 12 chances to win $100 just from a $20 calendar. So that was super exciting, but we had to move so fast because we had to build the calendar. So we had to get pictures of all of the different things we offer, all the different organizations that come in and use the pool, put the calendar together, print it, and then bind it together, and then come up with instructions of how to check these calendars out to sell them, and then taking the calendar money back in, keeping track of all that. The hours involved is phenomenal. But we have one patron that has personally sold 100 calendars. That's one patron. So just the calendar sales alone, we are doing phenomenal. In addition to that, we have a quilt raffle, which is also going phenomenally well. That drawing is February 15th, and we don't have very many tickets left to sell, but we still have 2 weeks to go. So people are like getting a little frantic, like we need to hurry up and get tickets for the quilt. And people are saying if I win the quilt, I'm going to turn it back in so it can be re-raffled. People are saying if I win the $100 from the calendar, I'm going to put it back in to the pool fund. It's just absolutely amazing how the community is pulled together. There's also a euchre game, a euchre card game that will take place in February also, and the response to that has been amazing. We've also had in that organization people that went out to businesses and asked them if they would want to give to the pool to help raise this $20,000. And we're getting checks in. Maybe some of them aren't very big, but it doesn't matter. It's still money coming in on a weekly basis from businesses in the community. So we, as of last Friday, are at almost 24,000. We only needed 20,000 for the year 2016 to remain open for 12 months. So we've met that goal. We've all done high fives. It's super exciting. And now that extra money will then be held and make it a little bit easier for next year, because this is going to unfortunately be a year-round thing. It's not just an isolated one-year thing. It's really going to be for forever.
So every year the community is really going to have to come together to help raise these funds. So you mentioned that the calendar is going to mention what you guys offer here. Tell me a little bit about what are some of the programs that the Plaza Pool offers to the community?
Well, one of the new exciting programs you'll see in the background is volleyball. You can hear the laughing. I love to watch the volleyball because these are mostly seniors that play this, and they could never do it on land. It's just simple moves of looking up or reaching the arms way up in the air, and the laughing. And I can't explain enough of how important it is to laugh this hard doing something fun. I mean, you leave here feeling so awesome. That's one thing that we offer. We also have senior fitness. We have a boot camp class, which is a high cardio, very intense, non-stop moving, 50-minute class. We have deep water aerobics. We have a sculpt class. We have aqua chi, which is like a yoga in the water. That's another one of our bigger classes. To go back to the sculpt class, yesterday we broke a record. We had 30 people in the sculpt class. So that's just building isolated muscles. Once again, the whole object of all of these classes is just to keep moving.
Yeah, and it seems that you guys are doing a great job doing that.
We start at 5:15 in the morning, and minus maybe 2 hours, we go till 8 o'clock at night.
So y'all are constantly on the move, keeping people moving, and everyone really together. So for next year, because you'll have to do this every year, unfortunately, do you already have some fundraising ideas, or will you keep doing what you're doing since it's working so well?
I think we really haven't got together and talked about it yet, because we did just meet our goal, so we haven't had time to look at next year. But we are super excited with the response with the calendars and the quilt and the card games. I think we will not rock the boat and keep a good thing going, but we will now have time to sit down and discuss other ideas that we can do to maybe, you don't want to do the same thing all the time and wear out a good thing, so come up with some different ideas and change the pace up a little bit.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to see what happens, and congratulations on meeting your goal as well for the year 2016. Thank you so much for being here, Krista.
Thank you for having me.
That'll do it for today's Insights. Thank you so much for watching.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.